The movie starts by showing that when the asteroid Clark hit Earth, it caused massive destruction, killing almost 70% of people and leaving the environment heavily contaminated. With the surface no longer safe, the survivors were forced to live underground in bunkers. 5 years later, John is shown scouting the area around the Greenland bunker island, sending updates back to the base. While searching the shoreline, he discovers abandoned lifeboats and a massive destroyer ship. He enters the ship and gathers a few useful tools, but his mission is cut short when the bunker warns him that a powerful storm is moving in fast. If he does not return immediately, he will not survive. John rushes back and barely makes it to safety before the storm hits. Inside the bunker, teams begin scanning nearby areas and monitoring the radio, hoping to find other survivors. At the same time, the bunker leaders raise serious concerns about food supplies, warning that rations may not last much longer. Adam argues that surviving a few more months could allow them to grow crops on the surface. Dr. Amina disagrees, explaining that even though radiation levels have dropped, humans still cannot stay outside for long periods. Allison then suggests leaving the bunker altogether and migrating elsewhere. Dr. Amina mentions a crater in southern France, surrounded by mountains that block radiation and storms, making it one of the safest known locations. Still, others hesitate, fearing that war may still be ongoing in that region. Meanwhile, John's therapist reflects on how 5 years have passed since the asteroid destroyed the world. He explains that although people claim they are coping, most are emotionally shattered, which is why there are now more therapists than surgeons. Everyone is carrying trauma, whether they admit it or not. John believes people choose to stay hopeful and avoid the past because hope is the only thing keeping them alive. Soon, the bunker receives a distress signal coming from survivors who are hiding in caves and abandoned mine shafts. The message creates immediate tension inside the bunker. Everyone knows the bunker was never designed to support many more survivors. After a long and emotional debate, the decision is put to a vote. In the end, they agree to send help using a snowcat the following day. While this decision is being made, John stays focused on keeping the bunker running, repairing damaged systems, and successfully restoring both water and power. Later, security reports that Nathan was seen outside the bunker, even if only for a short time. His parents immediately confront him, reminding him how deadly the surface has become. They explain that radiation, thick ash in the air, toxic particles, and dangerously low oxygen levels make it nearly impossible to survive outside. Nathan's behavior makes it clear that he is struggling with life underground. He feels trapped by the bunker's rules and routines, and has trouble adjusting to a world where freedom no longer exists. As preparations begin to receive the rescued survivors, decontamination teams are placed on standby, and the West Tunnel is opened. However, when the rescue team returns, they report that many people were left behind and ask for permission to go back for them. This request reopens the debate and forces everyone to once again face the harsh reality of their limited food and resources. At the same time, John notices cracks spreading along the bunker walls, a sign that something is seriously wrong. Moments later, the structure begins to collapse. Alarms sound as chaos breaks out. John, his family, and a small group manage to escape just in time, reaching the frozen coastline outside. There, they find abandoned lifeboats and quickly push out toward the sea. Not long after their escape, a massive tsunami slams into the shore, wiping out the bunker and killing those who were unable to get out. Once they reach a safer distance, John checks the air quality and determines that it is breathable for short periods. He makes sure everyone is wearing their masks and confirms that no one is injured, knowing that survival now depends on what they do next. They begin talking about where to go next, but it quickly becomes clear that there is no real home left for them to return to. Iceland comes up as the closest possible destination, yet they soon realize it has already been destroyed and no longer exists. With no safe place nearby, they need a clear and realistic plan. John explains that the asteroid impact altered the ocean currents, pushing them south instead of their usual paths. With only about a week's supply of food and water left, staying at sea is not an option. Europe becomes their only real chance of survival. The group agrees to head southeast toward England, hoping to reach London, where John believes Mackenzie might still be alive. If the weather holds and nothing goes wrong, the journey should take less than a week. After adjusting their route, they continue sailing through empty waters until something slowly appears on the horizon. At first, it looks unreal, almost like a shadow. But as they get closer, it becomes clear that they have reached Liverpool, England. They know they cannot stay exposed for long, so they move carefully through the silent, abandoned city. Buildings stand empty, streets are lifeless, and the danger feels constant. They search for food, clean water. During this search, they discover a government bunker and attempt to enter, believing it could save them. Instead, military personnel refuse to let them inside and suddenly open fire. Adam is shot and killed instantly, leaving the group shocked and terrified. With no time to react, they are forced to run and escape. Later, they meet Obi, a man who moved from Nigeria to England many years earlier. He tells them that England became his second home, even though he sometimes wonders if he would even recognize the place he originally came from. As they talk, the conversation turns to France. They agree that, for now, France is far more dangerous because of what is happening there, even though it might become safer in the future. Their discussion is cut short when a meteor shower strikes nearby areas, shaking the ground and spreading even more destruction. With conditions worsening, Obi is unable to continue traveling with them, and they are forced to leave him behind. Eventually, they reach Mackenzie. She is shocked to see John after all these years and immediately brings them inside. She offers them shelter in a sealed section of the hospital, where a generator is still running and powering the air filtration system. Mackenzie admits the system is unstable and far from ideal, but it is safe enough to keep them alive for now. As they settle in, she explains that many of the patients she treats have no idea what happened to their families and still do not fully understand the scale of the comet's impact. She stays even after food deliveries stop and the power completely fails, refusing to leave the people who depend on her. Later that night, they sit together and share a simple meal, adding more coal to the fire to keep warm. For a short moment, the world almost feels normal again. Nearby, a child sleeps deeply, worn out by everything they have endured. John quietly admits that the asteroid impacts still replay in his mind, and that he is still trying to understand the scale of what happened. The group talks about Clark, the massive crater outside, and whether life could ever return there. Some believe the extreme heat, water, and minerals created by the impact could eventually give birth to new life. At the same time, John realizes they do not have much time left. Even though Mackenzie has medicine and medical knowledge, he knows it cannot stop the slow decline. He promises that no matter what happens, they will stay together as a family. Allison, however, cannot accept staying there. She tells John that she wants a real future for both him and Nathan. She believes the crater represents a new beginning and reminds John that half of Nathan's life has already been spent hiding and surviving, instead of living. After a difficult conversation, they agree that Nathan must be taken to the crater, because staying where they are offers him no future. Mackenzie supports their decision, giving them fuel, supplies, and clear directions. She warns them not to stop for anyone as they travel south toward Dover to cross the channel. While driving, they are suddenly ambushed by armed attackers. Gunfire erupts and chaos breaks out. John fights back and manages to kill the attackers, but the doctor is fatally wounded in the attack. They take a moment to say their prayers and honor the loss, knowing there is no time to stay. They push forward, carrying the weight of yet another sacrifice. Eventually, they reach the location where a ferry once crossed into France, only to discover that the sea has completely vanished. They continue driving until the road abruptly ends, leaving only a damaged bridge that must be crossed on foot. Later, they are stopped by a man named Dennis, who points a weapon at them. After a tense conversation, he lowers his guard and allows them to stay. Dennis introduces his family and explains how they have managed to survive using solar panels, air purifiers, and a system designed to keep the air clean enough to breathe. He also reveals that his wife suffered severe radiation damage and can no longer speak. As they sit together and share food, the conversation turns to the crater, which many people now call the Promised Land. It is believed to be humanity's last real chance at survival. Dennis warns them that the crater is surrounded by active war zones and explains that the Western Alliance is defending it from groups trying to take control of its resources. With only 2 cities left standing, constant fighting has made the journey extremely dangerous. Dennis then explains that there is a safer path that avoids most of the conflict by passing through remote mountain routes. He tells them that once they reach the final checkpoint, they must speak to a commander who has the authority to help them move forward. Meanwhile, Nathan goes with Dennis's daughter to her room. She happily shows him around, pointing out her toys, her drawings, and the paintings she made herself. After that, Nathan tells her that he wants to show her something special as well. He brings out a fake sky he created with his own hands, decorated with stars. The handmade sky impresses her and sparks her curiosity. They lie down under the sky, talk, and quietly enjoy the moment, spending peaceful time with each other in the room. Before they leave, Dennis makes a heartbreaking request. He asks John to take his daughter with them, believing she has a better chance of surviving at the crater, even if he himself does not. Then the girl meets her mother and tells her that she will miss her a lot, and that she loves her very much. After that, she meets her father. Dennis tells her that he loves her too, and asks her to take care of herself. Meanwhile, the family continues their journey toward the crater. After traveling for a long time, they finally stop to rest, sharing a quiet moment that feels peaceful after everything they have endured. That calm does not last. Suddenly, military soldiers appear, and it becomes clear they are dangerously close to an active war zone. With no safe way around it, their only option is to move straight through. They push forward, narrowly escaping death as fighting erupts around them, and somehow make it to the other side. Once there, they learn that the commander Dennis mentioned is already dead. With little hope left, they approach another officer and explain their situation. After some hesitation, he agrees to help them. They are placed on a bus guarded by soldiers and continue the journey, believing they might finally be close to safety. But the convoy is ambushed along the way. Gunfire breaks out, and the soldiers are killed one by one. With no other choice, John fights back and manages to stop the attackers, but he is badly wounded in the process. Realizing there is no time to stop, Allison takes control and drives toward the crater as fast as she can. After traveling for some time, they reach a point where the road ends and the vehicle can go no further. With no other option, they leave the car behind and continue on foot. Moments later, they finally reach the crater. To their disbelief, it is filled with fertile land, clean water, and signs that life can begin again. Knowing his family is finally safe, John succumbs to his injuries and dies there. Overcome with grief, the others say their prayers for him and gather the strength to keep moving forward. They walk deeper into the crater, carrying both their loss and the hope of a new beginning. And that is how the movie comes to an end.